Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the continuation of the paper which I did last time. That was from question number 1 till question number 13. IGCSE 0455, March 2021, paper 12. So now we are continuing from question number 14. We did till question number 1 till 13. Question is, what is total revenue? Basically, they are asking about the definition of it. Very simple. The money received by the firm for each additional unit of output sold, that is not the total revenue, that is the marginal revenue. Option A cannot be the answer. Option B, the price of the good multiplied by the total quantity sold. Yes, this is actually the formula of total revenue. Price of the good and you multiply it by the total quantity sold. So you will get the sales revenue. So question 14B is the answer. Should a state-owned must be classified? So it should be a public sector firm in the secondary sector because it is refining of the oil. Question number 15. Question number 16. What is included in the government's budget? So the balance of the government revenue and the government expenditure. Yes. This is basically budget. The government budget is the difference between the expenditures and the earnings of the government, and that is through taxation, through payments of the rental buildings of the government, and how much the government is going to spend in the economy. So that is all related to the government's budget. So A is the answer of question number 16. A country has rapidly increasing inflation. What is an example of a monetary policy measure to reduce this problem? Monetary policy covers two things, that is the rate of interest and the circulation of money. Fiscal policy covers taxation and budgets. So out of these options, what is the example of the monetary policy measures to reduce the problem of inflation? So by increasing the interest rates, they can do it because that is a monetary policy instrument, and when the interest rates are higher, people will borrow less, aggregate demand will come down. Question number 18. The diagram shows selected areas of the government spending for a country. These are the different government spendings: national defense, education, health, unemployment benefits, and the values are also given. So what was the total government spending on merit goods? Merit goods are the goods which are beneficial for the economy and they are not fully appreciated by the consumers. Education and health are the two things which are related to the merit goods. So add 36.4 plus 81.8 and most probably, yes, C is the answer, 118.2 billion if you add the education and health. Okay, question number 19. The table shows the consumer prices index CPI of an economy, and the CPIs are given, not the inflation, the CPIs. What can be concluded from the data? Prices fell between years 4 and 5. Other options are also there, but prices fell between 4 and 5. Just check. 108 to 106. Definitely when the consumer price index is decreasing, the prices are falling. So it means that option A is the correct answer for this question. So remember, consumer price index is falling means prices are decreasing. Question number 20. Deflation is a sustained fall in the general price level. What might cause deflation? Deflation occurs. Deflation is what? Deflation is the persistent decrease in the prices of goods and services, opposite of inflation. So deflation is generally caused by different factors. For example, the consumers basically they show lack of interest in buying the goods and services, and the consumers are not purchasing the goods in the economy. They have kept their expenditure very low, and this is because of the fact that maybe there is a loss of confidence in the government's economic policy. The government, the people, even the producers and the consumers are not sure whether to invest in that economy, whether to spend in that economy. So the total spending is going to be decreased, and that will create deflation. There, the supply is there, but there are no buyers of those goods and services. So that's why we say that question number 20, B is the answer. The lost demand is because of the loss of confidence of the government's economic policy among the people. Question 21, very important. Many students may make a mistake in this. Tax is charged at 1.45% on all wages earned to pay for basic medical provision. How would this tax to be described? Direct and proportional, direct and regressive, indirect and proportional. So you know that there are types of taxation. For example, direct taxes are imposed on income and wealth. Indirect taxes are imposed on the consumption of goods and services. Proportional tax are fixed or flat. So these for example, 5% tax is collected from the teachers, from the businessmen, everyone. So that is a proportional flat tax. So over here it is given tax is charged at 1.45% on all wages. So this surely means that this tax is flat, proportional, 1.45% for everyone, and it is calculated on wages. So this is direct in nature also. So direct and proportional. Tax is collected from the wages, from the income, right? So it is direct tax, and it is fixed, so it is proportional as well. A is the answer. Question number 22, and it is basically table showing some data about an economy rate person. Whenever a table is given to you like this, they must be asking about the real income, and real income is increase in the personal incomes minus the rate of inflation. So 2.5 minus 3.5, it's a minus 1. Minus 1 means that your real income is actually decreasing. You are getting worse off. Why? Because there is a lot of inflation, so your living standard will not rise because the things are expensive, although your income is increasing, but the rise in inflation is more. So D, prices rose but the real incomes fell. Prices are increasing at 3.5%, but the real income is actually decreasing. So 22, D is the answer. Question number 23, what is included in the construction of the consumer price index? Base year. Base year is the year with which you compare the prices of the previous years to the current year. So base year will always be there. That is the first step of, in fact, making the CPI. 23A is the answer. Which country is likely to have the highest standard of living? Highest standard of living. So birth rate 25, lowest. That's a good sign. Generally for the developed countries it happens. Death rate is the lowest. That's a good. And infant mortality rate is also the lowest. That is a good sign. Infant mortality rate is very dangerous. Number of kids not surviving the first year of their birth will be the infant mortality rate, and that is basically showing poor living standards. Life expectancy is very high, 79. Option D is the correct answer for a country which is having the highest standard of living. Easy question. Question 25, which statement about the poverty is correct? Uh, so they have given certain definitions. Absolute poverty occurs when income falls below what is needed for survival. You got the answer in the first option only, as absolute poverty covers two things. One, absolute poverty is measured through a threshold targeted value. For example, if you are earning less than $2 a day, US dollars, $2 less than a day, then you will be in absolute poverty. And of course, you are not fulfilling the basic requirements of life. You cannot survive. You are in absolute poverty. 25A. The United Nations predicts that the population in the uh, low income countries will increase, and the population is going to increase. What is the reason for it? Uh, Look at option D. Modern medicine and sanitation will lead to a rapid decline in the death rates. That is what's happening actually. We see that maybe the look of it, if we see the global economy, we say that people are getting poorer. No, it is not the case. Countries, all the countries in the world, they are improving, and especially the globalization and these things are basically making people more literate, and the modern medicine and sanitation will of course create a decline in the death rate that will increase population. D is the answer. 27, which method of trade protection would enable domestic firms to lower their prices and undercut the price of imported goods? A subsidy. Subsidy is a measure by which the local producers will get financial incentives from the government, and they will produce the same product at a very low price, low cost, and they are going to compete with the importers. A is the answer. How might a multinational company directly benefits a host country where it is going to set up the operations? It creates local employment. A is the answer. Definitely that is a benefit to the country where they are operating. Multinationals, for example, coming to Pakistan, creating a lot of employment opportunities. A is the answer. 28. 29, a country has a current account deficit. Very important. Has a current account deficit on the balance of payments. Which measure is most likely to reduce the deficit? Okay, so they want to basically reduce the deficit, and they are going in a deficit. Generally, without looking at the options, just remember that the balance of payments, if it is in deficit, means that you are not performing well as a country. Your exports are very low, and you are importing a lot. So definitely on the basis of free competition, what should happen? Your currency should depreciate, which indicates that you are having a deficit. So it is better to depreciate your currency or devalue your currency right away, so that your currency will become uh, you know more attractive for the others. For example, many people can buy your product because your product is becoming cheaper. Why? Because there is depreciation. So C is the answer. A depreciation of the exchange rate will reduce the deficit because your exports are becoming more favorable to be sold out in the market, international market. A country experienced a deficit on each of its trade and goods, primary income, and the secondary income. So they are talking about the current account. Current account has four components. The first one is the visible and invisible, visible uh, exports and imports. The second component is invisible exports and imports. Invisible means services, visible means goods. And the third one is the primary income, which includes remittances, investment money, which is coming into your country or going out. And the fourth one is the secondary income, which includes the donations and gifts received by the country or aid. So, if they are saying that the country experienced a deficit on what? Trade in goods, primary income, and then also on the secondary income. But overall, it had a surplus on the current account. So, deficit in three components, that is overall trade in goods, one component, primary income, two components, second, and secondary income is the third component. Which one is left? The services, the trade of services. So they must be having a great surplus in the services, so that the overall scenario is such that they are having a surplus on the current account. Now we pick the option B. It had a surplus on its trades in services. Okay, so that surplus is so heavy that it is basically balancing out the deficits which were there in the other three components. So your answer is B. Thank you. I have covered the entire paper. So see this video and you will be inshallah getting benefit. Thank you.